So we're very lucky today to have one of my muckers from early on in my own kind of journey out of the brain injury, which is Cam.
Hey mate, how you going?
Cam, you don't need to do that. So I wanted to start, Cam. Look, first of all, thank you ever so much for coming, and of course we're very honoured to have the Volunteer of the Year. I gather Fiona Stanley Hospital's Volunteer of the Year. Yeah, that's shut you up, hasn't it?
It is.
So you've got none. Okay, so we'll see. We'll get back to that. But look, I'm very grateful for you to come and talk to us. So I thought I'd start at the beginning, and I realised that I know you're not somebody who normally talks about yourself very much, but I realised that I don't even know how you ended up with a brain injury. Can you tell me?
I can't. I seriously can't, mate. I've got no memory of it. There's no footage anywhere of me having an accident. The police don't know if I was attacked at home and like a break-in and an attack, or I was hit by a vehicle. And I say a vehicle, it could be in a car, a motorbike, a push bike, a gopher, a tricycle.
To go back then, where were you found?
I was actually found in my house. Now, I say apparently all the time. I was conscious, but I've got no memory for the first 3.5 weeks. Yeah. And people go, yeah, but what about this? What about that? You must have remembered something. I can't. And it's just something in my head stopped and wouldn't work. And my memory's gone. And my memory has, since then, has got a little bit better, but it's still not like it used to be, not like it was yesterday as such. And it's a sad thing. And
I think that's one of the things that's hard for people to understand is you can be awake and seemingly functioning, and yet actually there's no recording going on of what happened to you. So do you remember being in the hospital?
Royal Perth, no. Fiona Stanley, yes. I remember lots of it. I go down there once a week and do a little bit of voluntary work there, and I do get little flashbacks and little memory backs. You know, like
so just to be clear, they discovered that you had a brain injury. Do you have fractured skull? Is that right? Do I remember that rightly, or did you just have brain injury that we don't know how it was caused?
It was a global bleeding on the brain.
Right.
All right. So the brain was beaten up all around the place.
Okay.
There was a lot of scarring on the forehead.
Right.
The lungs. Apparently, the lungs. They took a lot of goo out of the lungs. So I ended up with a pneumonia or something.
Okay.
I had broken ribs. There was missing skin off my hands.
Right.
My knees and my feet.
So somehow you ended up back at home.
Yes.
But with no memory of what happened.
Yes. The last thing I can remember, I flew in from Christmas Creek. I was doing shutdowns.
Christmas Creek. Yeah. Only in Australia would there be a Christmas Creek.
Yeah, exactly. It was Twiggy Forest's mine, Christmas Creek. Okay. And we'd been asked by McGowan at the time, the Premier, because everything was coming on, can we do extra time out there, say flying in and out, keep the mines going, keep the Australian health going, and keep it.
And the next thing you knew, from somehow, you're in a hospital.
Yeah. Actually, I said to one OT, I said, I believe I was in a train accident. She said, no, you weren't. I said, yes, I was.
Yeah, so tell me about that. You told me this the other day. I thought it was fascinating. Tell me about the train accident.
I got told it's called the train track syndrome.
Yeah.
And it blew me out when I said this. Well, I thought I was in a train and in a train accident. When you're on your gurneys or your dollies going down the wards in your hospital, you've got these lights, and there's lights above you. And it's like cha-ching, cha-ching.
So as you're being wheeled along?
Yeah, cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. And it gets ingrained into your memory and sort of thing that you're on a train. And the trains go across the tracks and they've all got joints and they go cha-chick, 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 cha-chick.
Isn't that strange?
So you take the noise away, but you look at the lights.
Isn't that
and
strange?
You got these lights. And that's what I got told. My OT at the time, Axel, I'll call her, she said, no, mate, you went in a train.
That's fascinating. And then how long were you in the hospital for?
All up, 5 months.
5 months.
2 visits.
Wow. Okay. And do you remember much of that time?
Yes and no. I say yes and no because I do remember it. The patches, I remember it. When I'm with a patient, I'm doing something in the ward, in the SRS ward. Something will come back and remind me, and I'll mention it to them and how to go about it and what I did, and sort of like give them that confidence that I'd been through something similar to them.
So you can remember things, but you're not aware that you can remember them. Is that right? That things are triggered by.
It's like computer terms, and a lot of the young people relate to this.
Will, our producer might. Will might. He might understand.
Well, actually, you probably will. Will. How's that? I filed it, but I can't find the file.
Yeah.
You go into your computer, you can file something, but sometimes you can't find that file.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens all the time, really.
It happens all the time with me, mate. Since my accident, all the time.
And so you mentioned, so you said that you work at the hospital. Can you tell me about that? Because I know that you don't work anymore. Do you? Did you try to go back to work?
No, I didn't. They took my tickets off me.
Okay.
I didn't have a car license for 2 years.
No.
And you were witness to what that was about, because I thought I had a license. Yeah. You and Sandy turned around and said, "Mate, you got a license?" "Yeah, I got a license." Pulled my wallet out. There it is. I got the license. It's all up to date. No,
and I think again, this is. I promised that I wouldn't interrupt people, but I think again, it's very important to emphasise that it's not that you're deliberately that you're telling untruths about having a license. That's something that you remember, and it was only when somebody said to you, "Cam, you shouldn't be driving," that you realised that you didn't have a license. You've got a physical thing, but you're not allowed to drive. Is that right?
That's correct. I was medically suspended from my license. Yeah. I was told that by a neurologist. Apparently, when I was in Royal Perth, yeah. I've got no memory of that at all.
Isn't that funny? People tell us all these important things, and actually, the problem is you don't remember them being told.
That's dead right. Write them down. Put them in the logbook. And then when someone goes back to it, go back to your regular GP. Yeah. And they get a copy of it, and they go, "Oh, sorry, mate, you can't get your license."
Yeah, you drove here, and by the way, you're not allowed. So tell me, son, how did you end up being a volunteer then? Obviously, Volunteer of the Year. We're in very honoured company. So how did you become a volunteer?
I'd been a volunteer on and off all my life. Like, I was a member of the Albany Surf Life Saving Club. I joined the Army. Because
you're just to go back a sec, you're an Albany boy, aren't you?
Yep.
I want to say Albany, but you're not going to let me say Albany, are you? Okay.
No,
so you're an Albany. Okay, you're an Albany boy.
Yep.
You've done some volunteering. So it was in you. You had that in you all your life.
Yeah, and I also had mum and dad installed into us. If you're going to do something, do it properly and don't lay about. Make sure you're doing something. A little bit old school there. Your old man was probably the same with you and your mum and dad. If you're going to do it properly, but don't stop doing it. Don't do it twice.
Yeah.
Don't lay about. There'll be no bludgers in this organisation, in the family organisation.
So how did you end up then at the hospital then?
At the hospital,
working as a volunteer?
I've got a feeling that Sandy and Stephanie Tang, Dr. Stephanie Tang, and she's an amazing doctor. She's my rehab doctor, and Sandy was a nurse unit manager.
Yeah.
For that, and had been for years.
And I've had Sandy on the podcast, and we may well have her back. She's amazing.
Oh, she is. I call her grandma. She's like a grandma.
I'm sure she'll love being called grandma.
She hates it, but she's a grandma. She's like a grandma to all us patients and all the staff there. If Gran says something, puts a fist down, you listened, and you listened very carefully and very clearly.
Yeah, she's got a very gentle tone, and then she's got another tone that is not on my shift. No, you're right. You're right.
Exactly.
So it's gone. So how did you end up?
I went and did a like yourself, a step in a fatigue course and this, that, and the other with Michelle.
So just tell me about those courses.
Those courses, the fatigue course was really good. I got right into that. There's 3 different sorts of fatigues that we cop when we have a brain injury: emotional, physical, and mental. And I say emotional, physical, mental. Yeah, emotional, you get emotionally tied up, and it can drain you. Physical, you go off and do things. You go to the shed and you want to tinker around in the shed, and you want to toy around with something. You start using your brain, and all of a sudden your legs start to get tired. They do with me.
Yeah.
And then the mental thing, you start talking and getting into things, and you start really using your brain, and then you get tired, and you got to go and have a kip and a lie down.
That's right.
And people go, "What are you doing having a kip? Why are you lying down?" Mate, I'm knackered. I'll start talking like this, and I'll start not thinking, and I'll miss half a dozen words at a time, and I'll
So when people say tired, when you say to them, "I'm tired," my experience was it wasn't the same tired as I understood before the accident.
That's a good way of putting it, actually. That's a great way of putting it.
When people, I remember doing a podcast and being so exhausted I couldn't remember how the car worked. I was sat in the car with the keys, and I remember people saying, "What do you mean you didn't know how the car worked?" So because that was what tired felt like for me.
A similar thing to me, being in the shed doing a few things. Like I always tinkered, always did something, always worked. And it'd be like, how do I go and make a cup of tea?
Yes. Isn't that interesting?
I'm hungry. Let's make a sandwich. Cooking, I used to love cooking. I can't cook anymore. on the grounds that it's just too encompassing and too involved in my brain to allow me to do all these little things to make a nice feed. So, and what I used to do is just chuck a piece of meat into the oven.
Yeah.
I'd bake it. I didn't have to worry about cooking it because I burnt my hands a few times on the frying pans. I'll pick that up. All that burnt. And then I'd pull that out, stick it between bread. I'd slice up a tomato or do the best I can without cutting my hands. And to me, that was meat and veg.
Yeah.
And that was a meat.
Okay, so that's interesting. So, and yet you were able to work at the hospital.
Yeah, I know it's strange.
So tell me about working at the hospital then. Tell me about that.
That's my safe spot. It's my safe place. That's like...
so how can a hospital be your safe place?
I went from knowing nothing and remembering nothing to starting to remember things. I went from not being able to talk properly, not being able to walk properly, not being able to write properly, not being able to read. I could read, but I couldn't read. I knew I could do this stuff, but I couldn't do it.
Yeah,
I couldn't eat properly. But I got taught by the speech therapists, by the OTs, and by the physios, and lots of little bits.
So the rehabilitation.
Yeah, it was brilliant. It really was. And I bow my head, I doff my hat to the ladies down there and the guys down there that did that.
Yeah.
And they taught me that stuff. And so I go back there and I help out with some of the patients. And I got nurses down there, Claudie and Kathy and Nikki and Sandy's gone, but Cheryl at the front desk out there. And all these guys, they had my back, and they still got my back, and it was always an encouraging word. It was always
So is it like a family for you, Cam?
Yeah, you could say that. You heard the term when people say, "Oh, I was reborn." I left the womb for a second time. It sort of feels like that. I know it sounds corny and it's stupid, and a lot of people think it's stupid.
Do you know what? The book that I'm writing, one of the titles I had for it was Reborn, for exactly that reason. Is that everything I thought I knew went. And I woke up kind of suddenly. So I'm fascinated that you say that. And I'm interested also that you know all those names. Because it
took me a long time to remember those. There's a lot I still don't.
Yeah.
There's a lot of nurses there that I just cannot remember their damn names.
Yeah, but I've been there with you and everybody knows you.
I do remember the first day I walked into that hospital.
But you know the patients, everybody knows you. How does that happen, Cam? What do you do in your day? What do you do as a volunteer?
I used to go in there and
just to be clear, sorry, you only volunteer on the brain injury unit.
Yes,
that's the only place you work.
That's the only place I work.
So tell me about that. Tell me about what you do there.
I go in there. When I first started, they issued me a shirt, and it's
not that horrible Hawaiian thing I've seen you wearing.
No. They issued me this green and white shirt, and the green is a morbid green. It's a deathly green, and I thought, fuck this. I'm not wearing this. And I went down one Christmas Day because there was a young patient there, and Christmas is not a big deal for me. I couldn't get to
home. So you were there on Christmas Day?
Yeah, I went down the first Christmas out of hospital. I went down to see this young fella. Unfortunately, the young man's not with us anymore. And I went down there to see him, and I just wished him Merry Christmas. I took him in a wee present. I did all the little things that you do that, to be with someone.
With respect, Cam, you do that. I bet there weren't that many other people there on Christmas Day.
I can't remember seeing any. I'm not saying there wasn't, and I'm not going to say, I can't remember. But I went and saw this young fellow, and as I walked up, and you go through the lock section, and you walked up where the wall of inspiration is, and there was a gentleman there, Clayton, and he says, "Oh, yo, come here." I go, "Oh, here we go. Clayton's, he's a bit of a character. Where'd you get your shirt from? Because on Christmas Day, I always wore a very loud shirt, a Hawaiian style of shirt, be it from Lowe's or be it from Old Bowen's or from the surf shop. You'd put it on. That was your Christmas shirt.
Sure.
So I wore one, and I think it was a bright pink one, and it had surfies or something on it, and it stood out like a dog's lipstick. And
sorry, is that an Australian phrase?
One for another term.
Okay.
And I was went there, and he said to me, Clayton said, "Oh, you come here. Where did you get that shirt from? That's great." I went, "Oh, I got it from Lowe's, mate." He said, and he wrote it down, Lowe's shirts, must ask mum. And he put that down. He said, "All right, bye-bye." And I went off. I said, "Oh, yeah." And then I went round the corner, and I went past another ward, and the female said the same thing. She asked me over, "Where'd you get your shirt from? It looks great. It's brilliant. Where'd you get it from?" So I told her the same thing, and I went and saw the young gentleman and had a good time with him, and I helped him set up his TV. And
so you spent time with him?
I spent a good hour and a half with him. And I went around and saw some of the other patients on the same day because not everyone's capable or physically allowed to go home. No, I was going to say, so just because you casually said the locked area.
Yeah. Tell me about that.
When you go in there, into the ward.
This is on the brain injury unit.
Yeah, state rehabilitation services.
Sorry, yeah.
There's a locked section there, and it's there for a reason because I quizzed about it.
Why is it locked, Cam?
For everyone's safety. A lot of us have got no orientation, no idea. We've got no cognition. We've got no memory. If we were to go out and go walkabouts,
then we would.
Yeah, exactly, and we would. Where am I? What am I doing? Oh, well, I'll just go over here, and off you go. You walk there. There's a big railway line, and there's a big freeway right next to it.
Okay.
And that's got to be, they've got to look after that. And that's what was said to me the day I said, can I go outside?
So you remember being in the locked unit and being asking, can I leave?
I said to, the nurse was Ellie Smart, and she was my nurse when I first got there. And I remember the thing she actually said to me the first day I went in there.
Did you used to go and talk to other patients when you were a patient? I can imagine you walking around talking to other people.
I couldn't walk.
You couldn't walk.
I was in. Well, I could, but I was in frames, and I was strapped into a wheelchair and strapped into bed for 3 days because I was an absconder apparently at Royal Perth.
Were you?
Yeah, I apparently used to sneak. The story goes, I didn't like the gentleman that had the people that had the newsagents on the ground floor at the Royal Perth, right. And because of that, I didn't like him. Apparently, I used to go out the door and walk all the way into the city. There's the bloke with a brain that's got more bleeding on it than a stuck pig, and I'd walk back again, and that's miles down there. That's a good K down there, a good K back. Middle of when was it? August. So it would have been just starting to get warm. Or it would have been raining. So I've walked all the way down there. Probably didn't have any shoes on.
So you don't remember this?
Probably had one of those smocks, a hospital.
So you've been told this? Is that right?
Yeah, I've been told this.
Interesting.
I say apparently to all of this stuff, but I can't remember.
So going back to the Fiona study, so it's not that it's not locked as in a prison. It's locked because it's for the safety of the patients.
Absolutely.
Okay. And so now when you go back there, tell me what you do when you're in that unit. So you go in the locked unit. Is that right?
Yeah, I've got a pass to get in. It took me a while to get one because I had to prove that I was a reputable human being.
But you understood, which is what you've just said exactly.
Yeah, I had to understand the pros and cons. You had to make sure people had the right bands on their hospital things, etc. They had people. It was a privilege to get a yellow.
I was going to say, with respect to Fiona Stanley, I think having someone like you who is obviously fantastically good for them, but giving you the responsibility of being able to go in and out of the unit is fair dues to them. I mean, I don't know who that was probably Sandy. Giving permission for that.
I think it was because she got sick and tired of me saying, can I have your card, please? Hey, Gran, can I have your card, please?
I'm pretty sure we shouldn't say that Granny used to give you a card, but
she's retired, mate, and loving it. I mean, God bless the lady. She's just amazing.
So tell me what being a volunteer there. I get what you do for them, kind of, and we haven't really touched on the surface, but I know that you spend a lot of your time there, and we'll come back to some of that. But tell me what you get out of it.
What do I get out of being a volunteer? It was something that was never there when I was there. The volunteers in the main hospital never come down. And
which means that at weekends there's no one there.
Oh, no one there. The most interesting thing, two things that happened on the weekend was the nurse come in, or one of the student nurses, be on practice, come in and say, excuse me, Cam, has your bowels opened? Oh, yes, they opened all right, ma'am, and they closed too.
Is that an accurate? You're doing an impression. Is that an impression of the nurse? Is that how she sounded?
I don't know how they sounded. I can't quite rightly remember, mate. And the other thing was, you saw two flies crawling up a wall. You'd have a punt on one of them. That was the excitement.
So
on the
2
weekend.
out of 7 days, there's no stimulation or therapy.
No, none at all. Because the therapists and all that, they work 9 to 5. They've got regular work days, and they go out, and you get the staff isn't the same on the weekends, is what they are.
So whenever we talk about this, of course, there's no inference of blame. It's just that's how it is.
Yeah.
Until the volunteers like yourself started saying, well, why don't we add something to the weekends as well?
Stephanie Tang was a big mover and groover, and Sandy Dennison were big movers and groovers for me to do that. There was 2 of us who were asked.
Yeah.
And the other gentleman, he didn't work out for some reason. I don't know why, but rhyme or reason was up to me.
Sure.
So I went on in there, and the nurses were blown away when they saw me. Oh, Cam.
You sure they weren't? Oh Christ, not Cam.
There could be a bit of that too. Now, having said that, I want to throw back a bit, and nurses in a hospital don't get to see the end product of their hard labour from helping someone out.
Amen.
A plumber does. He can see someone's watering their garden, the retic's going, this, that, and the other. A builder he can see the house and say, "Hi, darling, I built that house over there."
Yeah.
Oh, that's really good, Dad. Thank you.
Yeah.
A motor mechanic can see the car going down the road. A painter can go and see the wall or the big building he painted. But a nurse can't see a patient that they've looked after and nursed and they've come back to
See, I promised
normality.
myself I wouldn't get emotional, but I once went back to Monash because I don't really remember the people who looked after me. And I don't know that I have any words to say thank you, but I'm pretty sure there were people who I was A, obnoxious with, and B, incredibly lucky that they looked after me. And so you saying that, it's very true. And you're right. I mean, I always say, ICU, I never knew what happened to any of my patients, but I always just looked after them because the next one came along. And I think the fact that you go back, I think you're right. I'd never thought about that. There obviously is something for the staff as well to say, well, here's Cam,
absolutely.
look at Cam.
And I went in there as a volunteer, and the staff can see what I'm like and see how I go about things, and
you're always very jolly. You're always very happy though. There's never a sense of you of loss. There's never a sense of. Do you have those days, Cam?
Oh, absolutely. I've sat down in the dark and curled up and cried in the corner, and I have. Why me? Why in the pickle has this happened to me? Why has the government done this to me? Why has this happened? Why has that happened? And it wasn't the government that hurt me. It was what the government did afterwards. They changed a few rules, which financially screwed me. But
we'll get
to that a bit later on.
Let's talk about the things you brought it, because you just said about all the good things that you have, and yet the first thing that you think about in terms of bad is not the brain injury, is not what happened to you.
There is that. Why me in the first place? Why in the pickle did this happen to my brain? This perfectly good,
Well, that's perfectly good. Let's not exaggerate.
This brilliant computer, this absolutely outstanding.
Okay, Cam's
Elon
a
Musk
genius.
style machine.
There you go. So tell me what the government, because I gather that the NDIS and stuff is changing, or at least there are changes to it for you personally. Can you tell me about them?
I wouldn't be on NDIS had the government, in their wisdom, changed the rules, and I never got any information. I can't remember receiving emails, getting letters or anything like that. Sure. I used to sell superannuation and life insurance and all that.
Did you?
Many years ago back in Albany. Okay. And so I got a bit of an understanding on the industry and how it goes about and what are the great benefits of it, income protection, etc. I had two insurance policies. This one on the left hand had, let's say, 70K in it.
Yeah.
All right, thereabouts. So it's around sort of a figure, 70K.
Yeah.
And that had my income protection, my total and permanent disability, and my life insurance. So that was insurances.
Okay.
This policy that I had, a superannuation policy I had on my right hand, was pure investment.
Okay.
So whatever I made and whatever extras I put in went into that.
Yeah, yeah.
And apparently they had the rules, and the rules they changed the rules because they were worried about people losing all their super through insurances and this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
And there's tens of thousands who have missed out on this. And they turned around and said, well, if you don't put contributions into there, you're going to lose all that insurance. You just have it as an investment.
Sorry, this is after your accident?
This was build up to the accident.
Okay.
18 months before my accident.
Okay.
I had my accident, and 34 days beforehand, it became law. 34 days beforehand, it became law. Okay. Now, there's probably a provision there where you could go out there and fight it and get that insurance. Sure. But they reckon that the insurance companies, being insurance companies, as we all know, they're great little things in their own little worlds.
It's a tough world.
It is. They'll turn around and say, yeah, we sent this and we sent this and we sent this. So, I can't remember getting emails.
Right. Does
every email come through? Through that, they may have sent it. How do they know I received it?
So you get the NDIS. You were able to do the application, and I say this to people often that the NDIS is a godsend for people.
It is,
but it is it's tough and things are changing. Can you tell me a bit about that?
I didn't put the application in; an organisation did for me, which I'm not with anymore.
Because the form itself is incredibly difficult.
It is.
I mean, I don't want to upset you, but yours
I'm going
and
through a whole lot of pickle and peanuts at the moment.
Well, yours and my friend Dan, who sadly again is not with us anymore. He never did the forms because it was too hard, and he ended up with no financial support and living in his car and fishing in the river. I know that you and I will always be angry that he didn't get any kind of support.
Oh, absolutely, mate. I mean, Dan was a champion. I mean, his legacy lives on with us with Beyond ABI, and he set up these WhatsApp pages for us, and a lot of the people that communicate don't.
So Dan was a friend of ours who sadly had a second bleed after an incident and sadly passed away. And as you said, that was the same. So, but tell me, let's go back to your end there. So, tell me. So initially, you had funding for all sorts of therapies. We talked about how therapies were very useful for you. I gather that you were getting those outside of because you come across as really fine, but I was quite shocked to find out that you have daily support in the community.
Yeah, I do.
Because people who meet you would never know that, Cam.
It's a pity Sophie's not here because she'd be able to tell you straight up. I'm reliant on Sophie.
So Sophie's your occupational therapist?
No, she's my senior. Well, I call her the senior. I call her the boss. She's the boss. The boss.
You've got Granny and the boss.
Yeah, okay. Granny and the boss. I give them nicknames. You know, there's young Will over here. He's a good man too. I got Granny. I got the boss, and the boss. She's the number one support lady that I've got. I've got about 4 of them, and they mix and match amongst themselves. If I've got the kids, they're crook. Can someone fill in? They've got a page for themselves, and they help me out. So
tell me what they do for you, Cam. Tell me what support you need.
Well, I don't drive anymore. I had a car accident January 12 months ago, and it knocked me about a bit. I thought I was going back in the hospital. I thought it was the end of the end. You know, it was like.
But that wasn't you driving, by the way.
No, I wasn't driving as a passenger. I was on my way down to put a barbecue on for patients and families that they found at Stanley.
So you do that. By the way, you do a barbecue every month.
Yeah.
For families.
Yeah.
And I gather that you get the meat free from a friend of yours who's a butcher.
Yeah, McLaughlin Butchers in Malaga. I've got a shout out for those guys.
We need a shout out because there's no reason why he does it other than the fact that he's a good man.
He's a great man. Paul and Jack McLaughlin, shout out to them guys. Yeah. They've got they won the Ham of the Year this Christmas. Right, Australia-wide.
We don't need to go too much. But fair dues, they're doing very well.
Absolutely.
And so you do the barbecue. Okay.
So I do that, and I'll go and see other people, and like I said, Coles and Woolies, see if we can get some condiments off those. Yeah. We had a young fella, Elijah. He with his church, I think it was, he knew someone in the bakery organisation, and he used to get his buns.
So you've gone round cap in hand to these organisations and asked them to help.
Yeah. And
because you're a good man, dare I say, they've gone okay.
I walked across the road. Remember when that construction site was across the road from the ward?
Go on, tell us about what did you do?
I walked across over there, said, "G'day boys, how you going?" And it was a CMFEU site.
Because you kind of speak tradie, don't you? I mean, I'm posh, quite a posh Englishman. I don't really speak tradie, but you do speak tradie, don't you?
And here's this dickhead, and he walks across, and he's got his jeans on, and he's got his bright coloured shirt on, and says, "Hey boys, how you going? How you going, lads?" And the tenant says, "Oh mate, you can't come in here. It's a construction site, you know." And I pulled out my wallet, went, "MUA boys, MUA." "Oh, come on in, mate."
Yeah, that'll be defunct as well, like your driving licence.
No, it's not actually. I'm still a member of the MUA. And the MUA is the Maritime Union of Australia. I was a seafarer for not a seafarer. I worked on the boats and the oil and gas fields, and I worked on rigs and etc. And I went across and said to him, just had he act and said, "Oh, what's going on?" I said, "Oh, mate, I was over in here. I've got a brain injury and I'm trying to help people and I want a freezer." They said, "What do you mean you want a freezer?" They looked at me and said, "What do you mean you want a freezer?"
Body.
I said, "I don't care what size it is. I need a freezer because I'm going to have barbecues and I need to put stuff in it so it doesn't go off."
So this is not the hospital providing you with a freezer. So you're getting the meat. You go and get it, don't you?
Yeah, I got to go and get it.
You go and get it.
That might be on hold.
And you're not allowed to drive, so you have to go public transport to get the meat. You bring it back, and then there isn't anywhere to store it on the ward. So you go to the workman opposite and say, "Hey, boys, have you got a freezer?"
Yeah. And they said, "Yep, no worries." So they went and did a whip around apparently on site, and they got the $300 or $400, and they got us a 200 litre
I see. They bought it. They didn't
bought
give you
a
it.
brand new freezer.
We need to plug that. Which building people with these?
This was the CMFEU boys that
there
were
you go.
down at the Fiona Stanley work site,
Look, do you know
whether
what?
Courtyard or whatever it is called, that new site down there. And they gave that to me. They did another whip around and they put about 8 or 10 inches of packed meat in the bottom of it. And it was like they wheeled it across. They said, "Here, mate." I said, "You'll have to do that for me, mate. I'll fall over." They wheeled it across on one of their trolleys. I think, was it the forklift? No, on one of the trolleys. Oh, hang on, it might have been the forklift. I think they might have brought it across on the forklift. Brought it on in. They had a trolley with them, and then they pushed it on in through.
Only you, Cam, could have a forklift truck driving a freezer full of meat into the unit.
And I said, "Oh, hang on a second, Sandy, can you come out here? Gran, come out here."
Gran, come out, yeah.
And the boys pulled it all apart, took all the cowling off it, the coverings off it, stuck it in. We flicked it on, and we had a cold freezer running there and then with meat in it. Yep. No questions asked. Well done, congratulations. Give us a call if you need another one or if you need something else.
What's amazing is it just shows that if you ask people do want to help. They do want to help. Because tell me about the arts and crafts. Because again, we've got a friend of ours, Mark Ewing, who's another one of our
Brilliant
lot,
man.
who wasn't an artist before his brain injury, and now he's a successful artist with his own clinic, a place up north. And he does some stuff
Two Rocks,
on.
I think, isn't it?
Yeah, Two Rocks. It's miles away.
Right on near the
Right on the seashore.
what do you call those things? Marina, right next, right in the marina.
But the point is but he's done some art and craft stuff.
Yeah.
So tell me about that. He does some stuff because
He was doing some outpatients work at the time, rehab work. And
so again, he's a volunteer. He's not
Yes.
being paid for it.
No,
so he comes
absolutely.
and does what, painting courses?
He used to. He doesn't now. We've now got a art therapist in there. But Mark was inspirational with this. He was an artist. He stayed out there. I collected everyone. I got all the paints. I organised all the paints and all the canvases and this, that, and the other. Sandy helped me with a bit of money there, and we went out and we did it. Anyway, yada yada. Mark was doing some outpatient stuff in the ward in the hospital.
Volunteer.
No. He was doing outpatients like rehab.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
And
yeah.
then,
He was as a patient.
Michelle Nunn. Mitch,
Love Michelle.
Yeah, she's a great OT. Michelle Nunn and I think it was Stephanie Tang, Dr. Steph Tang. They realised there was something pretty good that this guy could help us out with. And he said, come across and have a yak. I hit it off straight away with Mark. We went, yep, let's do it. I said, I'll get the stuff, yada, yada.
So hang on, where did you get the paint and stuff from?
By hook or by crook, by tea leaf,
You
you
didn't
name
steal it. You didn't steal it.
it. No, I didn't
Didn't you
steal
go to
it.
Bunnings?
I went to Bunnings and I went to Spotlight and I went to
And you just told them what you needed and asked if they could help.
if they could give us seriously reduced prices or if they could just literally give it to
But
us.
again, this is all off your own back. I mean, this I wanted to talk to you because I started to realise how much of these things you were doing, and it seems like there's a whole bunch of people doing it, but it isn't a whole bunch of people. It's a whole bunch of people hearing your story and listening to you and wanting to help, but it comes from you, doesn't it? I know you don't want to say that, but it does, doesn't it?
How can I say this, mate?
Well, yes, is the easiest way to say it.
It probably is a three-letter word.
So tell me then.
There is a collective of us that do it. I mean, Mark used to come down with, he said, mate, I've got some brushes, I've got this, I've got that, I've got some old canvases. Brilliant, mate, bring it on in. I'd get onto WhatsApp page, Facebook pages in my local area up in Balladura, and I used to say, hey guys, kick this off if you want, but I'm a volunteer at the hospital. We do this, and this. Has anybody got any arts and crafts stuff we can use? So mate, the stuff that was dropped round to me was
amazing,
phenomenal.
So tell me then, do the hospital give you a lot of support?
The ward does.
So you were very careful to say, so when you say the ward, not the hospital,
I don't have much to do with the hospital. I a lot with the...
But you're a volunteer there.
State Rehabilitation Services. What's his name? David Tomlinson, the head of volunteers. He's helped me out immensely. He's got me a lot of stuff as well. I've asked him for things. Yep, we can do that.
Okay.
He organised funding for the first barbecue. He come along and helped us. He was the Iron Chef as such, and he jumped in and did that. He's been very supportive to me and the people over there. It took me a while to get my head around the fact that you got to go through the right protocols to get someone to become a volunteer.
There you go.
You know, because when you become a volunteer in a hospital, you're treated like you are a paid staff member.
Yes.
You've got to go through that protocols.
But there's only one difference, Cam. between.
You get paid and I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I do probably as much work as what you do, although in the period of time that I'm there. I mean...
And then we often hear the hospital say how incredibly important what you do is. You just don't get paid for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know about the incredible bits, but that's what other people say. I don't listen to that, mate.
I'm not asking you to say it, Cam, because it's already there.
My brain's already broken. I don't need it to explode. Where was I?
So I was going to ask you, tell me about how your funding, which was originally providing you with quite a lot of support and other therapies other than just the normal stuff. I gather it's changing?
It is indeed. I originally fell through the cracks when I first got out of hospital. Straight through the cracks. I had nothing. I had no one.
Because you went home to what? To you live on your own?
Yeah, I went home by myself. The lawns in the house were like 1 foot tall, 2 foot tall. I couldn't go out there. The danger was there. My dog had ripped all the carpets up. She'd been fretting. What else was there? There was blood stains all in the bedroom.
From your original accident?
Yeah,
from
police ended up taking there was a pool of blood next to my bed. There was one in the lounge room, and someone spotted a trail of blood from the kitchen into near the front door. They don't know if that blood was there from a confrontation or someone invading.
So you go home to all of this chaos. You go home on your own with that.
I went in there. My daughter was with me, and I went in there and I went and looked around the house, and I knew it was my house. But I sort of had no idea.
Yeah.
And I went into my office and I went, "What's with all the plant books, Candace?" And she goes, "You're a horticulturalist, Dad."
Oh, well, she didn't even know those things.
And I said, "I'm a what?" And I actually said, "I'm a what?" And she said, "You're a horticulturalist, Dad. You studied horticulture."
So did you have any income? Did you have any income at that stage? How did you manage to? How were you buying food? After you got home, where was your income coming from?
They had me on the dole. And then my daughter turned around and said, "No, you can't be on the dole. You can't work." And she went in and batted for me.
Right. So your daughter
now I'm on
look out for you.
a disability pension.
Okay.
At the moment.
But
And I'm grateful for the taxpayers for giving me that. Absolutely, 100%. Thank you.
But I gather that the money is changing. I gather that you get reassessed regularly. Is that right?
NDIS with the pension, I have to. There's certain protocols you've got to go through.
Sure.
At times.
Sure.
I got to keep my house. I was allowed to what superannuation I had to show capacity that I could utilise that money without blowing it all in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I understood that at the time.
Yeah.
They said, "You need a financial advisor. Do you know someone?" And the only person I could think of, and there's a bit of a shout out here, I used to drive the trucks around city when I wasn't on the mines or on the rigs or on the ships.
You weren't doing something else. Yeah.
I had to do something. I couldn't stand around. It was just a waste of, a couple of $1,000 a week for someone or myself. And I used to listen to 6PR Talkback Radio, and they had Knight Financial on there and Jason Featherby.
Okay.
Now, I remember that name because his old man was Peter, and Peter Featherby was a goddamn champion footballer for Subiaco.
I knew there was going to be something to do with football. I knew there was going to be.
Western Australia, Victorian state sides, and also Geelong. And he was a guru. He was that man will die of leather poisoning.
Okay, so he know leather poisoning. So, but he knew something. So you got an advanced financial advisor. Okay. And have things stayed stable in terms of income, or does it?
He turned around and he said, "Right, let's have a look at what you got. See if we can get that other money and this, that, and other for you." And he went right into bat for me. Okay. He went to work with the Commonwealth. What do you call the people of the pension? I used to call it the dole shop back in my day.
So once you found somebody,
he went in and batted for me.
For you, then it was okay.
Oh, the pressure on me was just relieved. Yeah. I could keep my house. The street, I'm in the cul-de-sac. Yeah. The neighbours look out for me. Yeah. They're always saying hello, the ones on the corner, Mick and Penny, come on up and have a barbecue.
So there's another family, Cam, is that right? That you've got the hospital family and you've got that little
niche around there.
That's obviously very important for you.
Oh, it is. It's like the girls that support me, they know me better than my family does. Yeah. Now, that's no disrespect to my family at all.
Sure.
I love my family and I'll do anything for them.
Sure.
But I live in Perth. I have troubles travelling. They live in Albany.
Yeah.
You know, and it's.
Did you ever consider going back to Albany?
No, it's too cold. I wouldn't be able to walk.
Is that right?
Yeah, the cold. It's nerve damage in the leg, and
Right.
I've got to wear. Going off subject, tangent. I've got to put roofing insulation in my boot. I don't have it on these ones because these are warmer boots, but when I wear my boots, I put roofing insulation in there to stop the cold rushing up through into my foot, which goes straight up my leg, up my
You
side.
put roofing insulation in your foot, in your shoe.
5 mil grey silver roofing insulation, and that tries to nullify some of the cold that goes through.
Okay.
Because when it gets cold, it burns, like freezer burn. It feels like there's no insulation on my leg and my side, and right the way up through into my head and up through around here. And when that happens, when it gets really cold, this leg stops working. My right leg just solid. It won't listen to what it's supposed to do.
So on that topic, what other things, apart from you said about your memory and your leg, what other echoes are there still of the accident, of whatever happened to you? Are there other things that are still
Confidence.
Confidence. Now, that's an interesting word.
Confidence.
I've not heard you say that before, but
I was always a confident bloke. I could stand up. There was no such thing as a stupid question for me. If you got a silly question, mate, it's because you know the answer. Don't tell someone it's a silly question if you know the answer. Listen to him because he's asked a question because he doesn't know the answer. And I used to say that to guys
I need to see. I really love that. That's a great answer.
I used to say this to guys that were new on the rigs. And we used to get them all the time come new on the rigs. If someone showed potential, they went to the floor. That was up with the drilling.
Yeah.
They went down on the deck. And you say, right, what did you used to do? Oh, Dad had a fruit and veg shop. So you worked in air conditioning, yeah? All right. No worries, mate. This is hard work. Get a broom and a mop. Let's do that area over there. I'll call you when I need you. And the reason I did that was because we were also part of the fire crew. And if you're part of the fire crew, you had to know where every water outlet was, where every fire hose was, where every, I forget the name of the joints, every joint was for the actual sprays. You had to know where the air sockets were, or the air joints.
And this was all for their safety.
For everyone's safety. You had to know where all this stuff was when you're on the deck. And these kids used to hate me like there was no tomorrow. Oh, he's a horrible bastard, that bloke. And I used to say to him, come over here, mate, give us a hand, you know. Done any rigging before? Oh, I'm a dogman. Yeah, I'm a dogman. How long have you had a dog ticket for, mate? About 3 weeks. I said, well, you're not a dogman,
I've got no idea
mate.
what a dogman is, by the way.
A dogman's, in England, you call them banksmen. You got a crane.
Oh, yeah.
You come down on the hook. You got a bloke that does all the rigging, chains or slings. Okay. He's a dogman. He's a rigger.
I see.
And offshore they call him dogman.
Okay.
And I'd say, well, you're not a dogman, mate. You've only had it for 3 weeks. You're probably not even the flea on a dog's back. So you stay with me, learn and watch and et cetera.
So you were still somebody even then. See, I said to people that I think I really changed after the crash, but I suspect I didn't. It's just the real basics of who I was are still there. And I get the impression with you that you were someone who helped people out beforehand. We've heard that you did volunteering, and we're now hearing that you used to look out for people on the rigs and just make no bullshit, but you'd make sure that they were safe.
It's a twofold thing. Look after you.
Yeah.
Because if I look after you, you're going to look after me.
There you go.
And, I won't go and do a job. I won't send you to do a job that I can't do myself.
Yeah.
But if I can do that job, and I know you've got the ability to do that job, I'd send you to do that job.
So in that case, tell me about having a brain injury and not being able to be the person, a lot of the things that you used to do then. Because I know you still umpire, don't you?
No, I had to stop that after the car accident.
Did you?
Yeah, I had to stop that.
So you love your cricket, and I know you used to be an umpire. Then you became an umpire.
Bring on the ashes, brother.
Let's not talk about that. We're not talking about
Why
that.
not? That's a good conversation, isn't it?
Well, we'll see. We will get you back on afterwards, and then we'll see.
Absolutely.
But no, what I want. But tell me more. Seriously, not being or doing the things that Cam was before. How have you managed to deal with Cam not being the Cam you knew?
That's a really good question. How do I deal with it? I dream.
You dream?
I daydream a lot.
Do you?
Yeah, I do a lot of dreaming. Like I can write songs, but I can't. I can write books. I've written one, a little one for kids to try and work out how they why has Paul got a brain injury? Why is he like this? Why isn't he like he was before? I wrote this thing, and I've never done anything with it. I just wrote it. It was something to do. I'd like to do a whole lot of them, so you can give them out to kids, so they can sort of do it in kiddie talk and help someone with that, and do some drawings. And
I think that's a beautiful idea.
And try and educate kiddies at a young age why gran and why mum and why dad and why this and why that isn't the same. Okay. What has changed? My independence, my stubbornness, my confidence, my vitality.
But you're still stubborn.
Oh, absolutely.
But you used to be someone full of confidence, and you're not so much now. Is that right?
Yeah. I never lost a game of Trivial Pursuit.
Get lost.
No, it's true.
Well, we need to play then.
Absolutely.
Okay. So going with that, what's Cam going to do in the future?
If Cam's 61 now, if Cam gets to 75, I reckon Cam's had a pretty good innings.
Well, what's Cam going to do for 14 years?
Probably what he's doing now, help people.
Help people.
Just help people. I had no help. I was restricted. COVID was at its peak when I was in hospital in 2020.
Yeah, of course.
There was nothing there. We had nurses risking life and limb. They had their own families and coming in supporting us, and yes, doctors as well. But it's the nurses in hospitals that keep us alive. Don't be mistaken, ladies and gentlemen. It's the bloody nurses.
See, there you go. And I know people who know me from before would think it was ironic me saying that's true, but I say about ICU, intensive care units, is the nurses are the ones who do stuff.
Absolutely.
Doctors swan around and we do the odd thing every now and then. That's our job. And then, as you said, I'd not thought about, people forget that about COVID, that people were coming in. I mean, two of my friends from the UK both caught COVID in the hospital they worked, and how they decided not to come. So I forgot that you were there during COVID.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, it's when I got out of hospital, every time I saw a nurse with a uniform on, I go, "Hey, you a nurse?" Yeah. Thank you kindly. Yeah, thank you.
Wow.
I'll get a bit
That's
emotional.
quite confronting. Some big bloke going
I'm
on.
getting a bit emotional here. I'd say to them, thank you kindly. People like you kept me alive. I really appreciate what you guys do. And I'd say it. I wouldn't talk to them. I'd say it in a voice like this so everyone heard what I was saying and recognised that this person here was a nurse and they did a great job for us and they kept a lot of us alive.
Would you mind me saying, Cam, that I've asked you a few difficult questions and you've not got emotional? And then you started talking about nurses and got emotional. I think that's really... Tell me why. Tell me how
they kept me alive, mate. I should have died twice. Sorry.
No, that's okay.
I should have died twice in Royal Perth, apparently. I lost all this weight, and it was the nurses. The doctors know the science, as you know. You guys know the science, and you're professors, and you understand it, and you work it. The nurses know a little bit, but doctors don't come up and give you a cuddle and hold you. And a nurse holds you, they mother you, and they're like Sandy, grandma. You know, they help you. It's not just the physical and the medical side; it's the mental side. They assure you that they're going to be there. I'm not going anywhere. You know, I've got to go home, but I'll be back. And you hold them to that, and they're back, and they're back the next day.
Cam, is that why you're a volunteer?
Oh, there probably is. Yeah, there's probably a good part of that they installed something into me to help people. That they help me.
But I get the impression that that's who you were. That's who you were all your life, and the brain injury has just.
I've always tried to. Well, crikey, how can I say this properly? If I knew something. To me, knowledge is nothing. Knowledge is not nothing. Knowledge is not expensive. Knowledge should be given out. It's not a secret to know something. It's a catastrophe if you can't share it with someone else.
Yeah.
You know, unless you got something that's really unique and only you want to know about it and you want to be a selfish bastard, by all means. But if you knew something and you know they don't and they're going to get hurt or they're going to do the wrong thing, share the knowledge so they know. If you can educate someone, just one person.
Okay. So I love that. So Cam, I know that when you work as a volunteer, you often meet people's relatives.
Yep.
Early days when the patient themselves is still lying in a bed, pretty messed up. Do you talk to the relatives? And if you do, what do you say to them?
I go in and ask them, see how they're going. I introduce myself. I'm Cam. I'm a volunteer here. Oh, I like your shirt. Well, thank you. It's a good talking point. I've got a brain injury. And they go, oh, have you? Really? Have you? What happened? Well, I used to be in that ward over there and that one over there, and then after a while I was sent in that one there, and then I was sent home and I came back again.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Wow, you're looking really good. I said, yeah, I might look good, but I'm not all that flash. I'm here to help out in some ways, whatever I can. I tell them that it's in early days now. I says, it's amazing how things change and change so quickly.
Yeah.
And when you're only coming in once a week or twice a week to see a particular person, they change exponentially.
Yeah.
And it's an amazing how quickly the body can recover, and it's through rest and it's through nutrition and it's through confidence that they're getting from other people, the nurses and the therapists, and they change and they slowly come back to a sense of normality.
So you basically tell them there's hope. Is that fair?
There is hope, but I'll never tell them they'll ever be back there the same, because I was never there the same.
Okay.
I can't tell them that I'm the same as what I was before, because I'd be telling a lie, and I don't like lying to them.
No.
I don't like telling lies to the patients, because that's the infancy of your rehabilitation. If you lie to them and let them down, they're going to be scarred and they're not going to trust any other bastard again. And trust is the biggest thing that we've got. Now, you probably yourself knows that trust, to have someone that you can trust, is a very big thing. You trust your wife to make decisions to help you. Yeah.
Well, it's funny you said about the story, because I haven't ever told the story, but the first Christmas party I ever came to, so Sandy, grandma, organised Christmas parties and always dresses them in frocks because she's nuts. And I remember my wife said afterwards that she was talking to someone, a woman who looked quite upset, and Nita said to her, "You okay?" And she said, "Oh, well, you know, my husband's only recently come in. He's the one over there in the wheelchair, looking pretty banged up." And Anita said to her, "Well, you see that bloke over there on the karaoke, singing and dancing?" She said, "That's my husband, and he looked like that. He looked like your husband did a year ago." And the woman kind of, okay, maybe she's thinking, like you said, maybe she's thinking, wow, he's not entirely normal, that guy doing the karaoke, but it does get better than that.
It does. I mean, but you said to me, I look all right. So do you. You look great. You look like a fit specimen, mate. Not any different to myself, you know. I mean,
but you and I know. But you and I know.
We know what we're like, and we know how we are. And this is where this hidden disability comes in.
And are you okay with that? Are you okay with who you are and what you are?
I've got no choice. I went down to Bunnings, got a hammer and a nail and built a bridge, mate, and had to get over it. I look at the glass always half full, and not half empty.
Yeah.
If
were you always like that?
Yeah, pretty well. You'd be in a tight spot in a game of cricket.
Yeah.
You'd turn around and say, "Listen, mate, let's knuckle down, let's do it." A classic example of that would be Gilchrist and Langer against the Pakistanis in Tasmania. I think it was 1998.
Don't start with the cricket stories. Don't start with that.
No, that's great. And we'll make sure that goes in place. These guys just counted
because
off.
I'm just going to say 1981 and let you figure out what I'm talking about. You know.
1981.
Tight spots, Ashes. Yeah. Ian. I'll give you a clue. Let's say Ian.
We won the money, Bo.
Yeah, you did. The bets, you're right. That is a great story. But anyway, we're not talking about that.
Yeah, no,
so I want to try and kind of wrap this up, because I've got to drive you home, and you and I are probably both tired now. Okay, we're going to wrap this up, Cam, because you and I will be exhausted.
I can go for another half an hour if you want. I really am. I'm enjoying this, mate.
Shut up, you.
I'm actually getting a lot off my chest.
If I were to ask you, what would you like people to say about Cam? What would you have them say? So when we have your leaving due at the hospital, when you've worked there for 25 years, and we have a party for you, what would you like me to say about you?
Bloke that went against convention to a degree, but had the heart to look out, to put his hand out to people. To someone that went down, he could pick them up. Someone that was on the bones of their ass. He'd give them the shirt, that sort of thing, but not like that. Just someone that tried to do good. Okay. Just try to do good for others.
Okay.
I mean, we're on this planet. We're born with nothing. We pay bloody taxes. We get beaten up and hurt, and we die with fuck all.
Okay.
Now, in between, we've got to help one another, mankind.
Well, you seem determined to make the most of it.
I'm trying my best to make the most of it.
Yeah.
It fails me. It hurts me. I mean, at the moment, I've got no therapy, so I'm in pain 24/7 now. My therapies weren't. I was never in pain before the accident.
So let's just to recap. So your therapies have stopped. Is that right?
My physio has. My physio, I can't do Pilates, and that was really
Tell
instrumental.
me why that is. That sounds crazy.
Because some person in the NDIS said, "Oh, this functional." There's FCA report. We got evidence-based. You don't need this, you don't need this, you don't need this, you don't need this.
So these therapies that you say were very useful.
Oh, absolutely.
Somebody who didn't really know you has said they're not.
It took me a long time to find these people that I could trust that I'm with my body and help me get into the spot and be on the same page as me and how we worked. And they knew the science and they had the experience in fixing bodies.
And that funding's been taken away.
Yeah.
Can you explain that to me? Because I'm very lucky.
I strongly believe that the people they've got there at the moment in the NDIS are not people that know anything about medical conditions, brain conditions, disabilities, but they're people that come out of insurance companies.
Okay.
Now, the government and
you and I don't know whether that's true or not, but that's what it feels. That's what it feels. That's how it feels.
Yeah, that's my hypothesis. If you want for another
easy
word.
for you to say.
Yeah, easy for me to say. I mean, there's a whole list of things here that they go by. And
so you brought because of all the things that you and I were going to talk about, you actually brought a list of things that you wanted to say. So please, because I think it's important, because one of the things that had me want to talk to you, because I had no idea that the funding had been withdrawn.
Oh, a lot of it's been withdrawn, and through that, I've had to. One of the ladies that helps me she's like family. The kids call me Uncle Cam. They come. We as a collective go out for lunches and dinners with the husbands and all that. They all involve me in their lives. It's a big family for me.
Another family for you.
Yeah, it's another family for me that I can trust, and then I can drop a tear and they hold me and put their arms around me. Now, NDIS have got these core values, and I believe this is those. One is respect, and I wasn't shown any respect when this is me talking how I felt at the time. Yeah. And when my plan thing was going, I had to get up and walk out in case I said something wrong and rude. I didn't want to do that because it's just not the right thing to do. Respect, there was none shown to me. Empowerment, I had no empowerment. It was taken from me.
You're a passenger, really.
I was dictated to.
Yeah.
Individualised support. Well, I've got some individualised support. I've got the ladies that help and a mate. 4 people that help, and they help me really, really well. Yeah. And not only are they cleaners, there's a cleaner, but she's a support worker. Yeah. Ant's not only a gardener and a maintenance guy. But he's also a support worker.
But you haven't lost those, have you?
No, I've managed to keep them, but I've lost Sarah, and she was amazing. And Sarah.
Who was Sarah?
Sarah's training to be a midwife and a RN registered. No, what's the other one? RN? Ian. No, RN.
She was working. She was supporting. She was one of the paid workers for you.
Yeah, and she was.
And you had to take that. That's been taken away because of the funding. Okay.
And I didn't know how to tell her, and I asked Sophie. Sophie, can you say something, mate? I haven't got the kahunas to ask her, mate.
But again, Cam, we're hearing you say that you're saying sorry to someone because your therapy support is being withdrawn. They're not the one who's losing something. You are, and yet you're the one apologising, which again seems to me ridiculously. I know. I'm nowhere near that nice. I honestly think so. Go on. Go on. Tell me what else is on your list.
Choice and control. That's a big mantra with NDIS. I had no choice and I had no control. Okay. I was dictated to.
Okay.
Another one was to promote social and economic participation. To promote social participation, that was taken away. I've got no funding on weekends, so I can go to the cricket. I'm a life member of the Morley Cricket Club.
And you can't go now?
I can't get there. How do I get there?
So even I know how much you love your cricket.
I've got a brother coming up for the test, Ashes test. Yeah. And
I'm not sitting with you listening to the Ashes, so let's not.
I'll get you a ticket if you want, mate.
I'm not coming, I'm telling you.
I can get half-day tickets.
Because it'll go terribly wrong. Carry on.
He's going to come up, and Scotty's really good for me.
So your socialisation is limited because you can't get. Okay, all right.
I got a license, but I don't have a car.
Anything else?
They've gone then promote social. Then there's got transparency and accountability. There was no transparency. That sounds like political gobbledygook to me.
Yeah.
value for money. Now, this one here really pissed me off, and I seriously pissed me off. I have an issue with my internal thermal control. All right, I sweat like a pig, and I freeze and I burn like a like a roast pig.
It's all part of the brain injury.
Yep, and it's all part of it. I can't sleep at times. I stick on the bed. I tear things up. I've got to change my doonas, my sheets, my pillows, my pillow covers, my doona covers, and all that regularly because they stain up because of the sweating and all that. I go into the house and this foot of mine now is on fire because it feels like a freezer burn. It's cold. This side's all right. This fire side feels great. This one's knackered. We asked for an air conditioner with a heater in it, if they could help me out in some way. There's a evaporator one there, but that's just no good.
So they couldn't help you with that either?
Humidity makes it worse. And evaporative air conditioner is no good during winter because it's cold. They turned around and said to me, the lady said, "Oh, well, that's not value for money." And that made me feel like a third-rated human being.
I'm sorry.
And I'm just going, what do you mean it's not value for money? I haven't done enough in this world to help people and do things. Not now since my accident, but prior to that. I didn't pay my taxes and et cetera. I'm not saying I'm entitled. I'm not entitled.
I think what we've heard today is that you definitely deserve it, Cam.
But I don't have a sense of entitlement. Please,
I don't think you,
folks. Please don't.
You don't give that impression though.
Human rights. It's one of their big things. What human rights do I have? I was just a thing on the phone. And then you got personalised centeredness.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
Well, it's supposed to mean that you're at the centre of care.
Oh, well, I wasn't. I was on the far right or the far left. I mean, Julia Gillard come up with this great idea and they went with it. I know they had a bit of trouble with it during COVID, but it turned around and slashed a man's funding when he needs it. I can't go anywhere. I can't do anything. Volunteering for me in the hospital is a big thing for me. It's huge, for my mentality.
So has this reduction in your funding reduced your ability to volunteer? Has it put that at threat?
Yeah, well, the barbecues I do once a month is going to be near on. I can't carry 30 kilos of meat on a train or a bus. And they say, "Oh, we'll get you a taxi. Give me enough money for a taxi, say for 6 runs." That only gets me. That doesn't get me back. Catching a train is a nightmare because I have to sit down. I can't stand up.
I've seen you be unsteady.
Yeah, you're unsteady.
So I gather that your MPs might your political is the right word MP here?
Yep.
Your member might try and help member. You. Might try and help you.
I've spoken with the eminent Dr. Anne Alley in her office, and they've been great. Federal Minister, she's now on the cabinet.
Well, let's hope that she helps you.
That they've gone into bat for me, and I dare say for a lot of other people.
Sure.
And they've told me things like my rights and that I never even knew about. Sure. There's a lot of secrecy things there.
But I think what we hear from you is that if people don't see the value in what you do and the importance of a little bit of money, we're not talking about a lot of money. I know you being able to go and get the free meat and being able to do the barbecues is a godsend for people on the unit. And at the end of the day, those are the ones that you and I care about because, like it or not, we became part of a community that we probably never even knew existed, and yet here we are.
And it's a community that's not going to shrink. It's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. I mean, thank God the government stepped in and said, let's get rid of these scooters. Great move. All we need to do now is get the coppers to work with the health department and go, you haven't got a helmet, mate. Give us your scooter. We're going to melt that, and you've got a fine. By doing that, we've saved you a lot, you and your family a lot of hassles, and we've probably saved the taxpayer of the state $1 million.
And on that safety message, I think we should stop. Cam, truly, I know it's not something you would have chosen, but the brain injury unit and Western Australia are very lucky to have someone committed to this like you are. And if by hearing your story, people understand that community need more support and more rehabilitation opportunities outside of hospital, then I hope that it does some good, because genuinely you are a remarkable man, and it's a joy to have met you, and thank you for speaking to us today.
You get me a little bit emotional here. Well,
good.
Brucey. Thank you. And people out there, you're not on your own. There's a lot of us out there in the same boat, and we're willing to help you. Just reach out.
Thank you, Cam.
Just reach out.
Thank you, Cam.
Thank you, mate.